Breaking news is unfolding in Washington, D.C., as sources close to the Department of Justice are confirming that federal prosecutors are moving forward with plans to open a grand jury investigation targeting several former Obama administration officials. This development has sent ripples through the political landscape of the United States, with questions already being raised about who is under scrutiny, what potential charges could be on the horizon, and how this could impact the future of American politics. The story begins with reports from a high-level source familiar with the matter, who revealed that the Justice Department has been quietly gathering evidence for months. Behind closed doors, investigators have been reviewing documents, speaking to witnesses, and analyzing the decisions made during the Obama administration that critics allege may have crossed legal or ethical lines. Now, the investigation is moving into its most serious stage, the convening of a grand jury. For those unfamiliar with how a grand jury works, this is not a trial. A grand jury is a legal body that examines evidence presented by prosecutors to determine whether criminal charges, known as indictments, should be filed. Unlike trial juries, grand juries operate in secrecy. They have the power to subpoena documents, compel testimony, and examine evidence without the presence of defense attorneys or the public. If the grand jury concludes that the evidence warrants it, they can issue indictments that set the stage for a formal criminal trial. The Department of Justice has not released the names of the Obama-era officials under investigation, but political insiders are already speculating. According to the source, the probe may involve actions taken during the later years of the Obama presidency that have been a point of controversy among political opponents for years. These could include decisions related to national security, intelligence operations, or the handling of politically sensitive investigations. Whatever the case, the move to convene a grand jury signals that federal prosecutors believe there is enough evidence to warrant serious legal scrutiny. Reaction to this breaking news has been swift and divided along predictable political lines. Supporters of the investigation, particularly on the conservative side, are applauding the move, arguing that no one is above the law. They believe that if officials from a former administration abused their power or violated the law, they must be held accountable, no matter how much time has passed. These voices point to previous controversies surrounding the Obama administration as justification for a deeper investigation, claiming that the American people deserve transparency and justice. Critics, however, are raising alarms that this could be a politically motivated effort designed to discredit the Democratic Party and the legacy of former President Barack Obama. They argue that targeting officials from a previous administration risks setting a dangerous precedent, where political opponents weaponize the justice system to go after each other. Some have compared this to tactics seen in other countries, warning that such investigations could further deepen America's already intense political divisions. Legal experts are weighing in on the significance of the grand jury process. Former federal prosecutors note that grand juries are not convened lightly. They require substantial preliminary evidence and careful legal justification. While not all grand jury investigations result in indictments, the very act of opening one indicates that the Justice Department believes there is enough information to explore potential criminal charges seriously. The process is slow and methodical, often taking months before any public announcements are made. In the meantime, behind closed doors, the grand jury will likely issue subpoenas for documents and testimony from witnesses, including former government officials. Some of these individuals may appear voluntarily, while others could be compelled to testify under oath. Federal investigators will meticulously examine whether the actions in question violated federal law, and if so, who should be held accountable. The political implications of this development are enormous. Former President Barack Obama remains one of the most popular figures in the Democratic Party, and any investigation into his administration will inevitably spark debate about the legitimacy of the process. Allies of the former president are expected to mount a vigorous defense, framing the investigation as a partisan attack. At the same time, Republican lawmakers and commentators are likely to seize the moment to highlight what they see as a long overdue push for accountability. Social media is already buzzing with reactions to the news. Hashtags related to the investigation are trending, with some users celebrating the move as a victory for justice and others warning of political overreach. In today's hyper-connected world, public perception can shift rapidly, and this investigation is almost certain to dominate political conversation in the coming weeks. Looking ahead, the timeline for this process is uncertain. Grand jury investigations are known for their secrecy and patience. It could take weeks or even months before any formal indictments are issued, if they are issued at all. In some cases, grand juries examine evidence and determine that no charges are warranted. In other cases, their work leads to explosive legal and political consequences, fundamentally altering the careers of those involved. If indictments are eventually handed down, the legal battle that follows would be unprecedented in its intensity. It would pit federal prosecutors against former high-ranking government officials in a courtroom showdown with potentially historic implications. Political observers warn that the country could be entering uncharted territory, where the norms surrounding former presidents and their administrations are tested like never before. For now, the Department of Justice remains tight-lipped, offering no official comment on the ongoing investigation. That silence is standard practice for grand jury proceedings, which are designed to protect the integrity of the process and avoid tipping off potential targets. Still, leaks from Washington and the media frenzy surrounding this case ensure that the story will remain front and center. This is a critical moment in American politics and law. A grand jury investigation into former Obama officials represents not just a legal proceeding but a test of the country's commitment to accountability and the rule of law. Whether the outcome vindicates the officials or leads to criminal charges, the ramifications will be felt across the political spectrum. As the situation develops, one thing is clear: the eyes of the nation, and indeed, the world, will be on Washington, D.C., as this historic investigation unfolds. Stay with Knowledge Nest for every twist and turn in this high-stakes story, and make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss breaking updates.